Goeienaand en welkom by In Gesprek. Vanaand hou ons 'n debat oor die ANC se staatsgesentreerde ideologie en ons vra of dit 'n teelaarde vir korrupsie skep. Ons vra of die Suid-Afrikaanse regering meer oor kwessies in die Midde-Ooste omgee as teen ons buurland Zimbabwe en waarom is die rand deesdae so sterk. Ons begin met die onderwerp van elektrisiteit. Die nuwe geïntegreerde hulpbronplan is die grootste regeringsbeleggingsplan sedert die einde van apartheid. Die plan is om 'n belegging van 2200 miljard rand teen 2042 te verkry om 'n opwekkingsvermoë van 105.000 megawatt te bou. Vanaand vra ons waar gaan die geld vandaan kom en hoe gaan dit aangewend word? Om hierdie vrae te beantwoord, sluit die redakteur van Manuel Bereik van die Kerk en die voorsitter van die Kernenergie Korporasie van Suid-Afrika, David Nichols, by my aan. Ryk, so hierdie bedrag is astronomies, dis 30% van ons BBP. Weet ons waar gaan die geld vandaan kom?
Wel, teoreties van die privaat sektor af, of ek dink dis wat die regering hoop dit gaan daarvandaan afkom. Dis 'n enorme hoeveelheid geld, maar mens moet net dis 'n plan wat op die tafel gesit is. Dis nie 'n beleid nie, daar is nie konkrete projekte daaraan gekoppel nie. Dis wat die regering wil doen. Ons het al baie van hierdie planne gesien. En die realiteit is dit werk nie altyd, speel nie altyd uit soos wat daar voorsien word nie. Ons het meer elektrisiteit nodig. Enige belegging om ons elektrisiteitsopwekkingsvermoë uit te brei moet welkom wees, maar dit moet ook prakties wees en ek dink wat in daai plan staan is miskien wensdenkery.
David, so the government wants to increase the amount of energy it's produced by nuclear power sources. Is that a good idea? Is it realistic?
I think it's both good and a realistic idea. Look around the world, it's quite interesting. You look at countries with low cost of power, you tend to find that the ones with a larger nuclear component. So yes, it's on the cards for many years. We in this country have a good experience of running our plants, both at Koeberg and in my case at the Pelindaba research reactor. So I don't think it's unreasonable. The question always is how do we finance it and under what basis? And that again will be an interesting question, but almost certainly it'll be financed by the vendors.
But David, how will it be done? Do you think it's realistic in the sense that we want to double the amount of energy we produce by nuclear sources by the year 2039?
Well, actually, it's not doubling; it's trebling. So we're adding. The plan is to add 5,200 megawatts to the current 1,800 megawatts. So that's more than doubling. Yes, very reasonable. The UAE, which had no nuclear background of any kind, went and built 4 1450 megawatt nuclear plants, a lot with South African help, over the last 10 years. So it's highly credible to do this.
Ryk, ek bedoel, mense is skepties. Mense kyk na projekte soos die van Kusile Medupi, 11 jaar laat, miljarde rand oor begroting. Daar word nou bedrag genoem in hierdie plan, maar is dit nie net nog 'n trog waar, jy weet, diegene wat lekker geskep het uit die vorige projekte dieselfde gaan doen nie.
Maar kyk, onthou net Kusile en Medupi is deur Eskom gebou. Die projekbestuur is van Eskom se kant gekom. Hierdie gaan meer wees van privaat sektor wat projekte gaan konseptualiseer en dan word dit gebou met privaat sektor fondse en hopelik privaat sektor projekbestuur. So daar is 'n groot verskil in daardie opsig. Ek hoop net nie Eskom bou 'n kernkragsentrale of probeer een bou nie, maar soos gesê het, dit kom dalk van die buiteland af, van die verkopers van daai tegnologie gaan daardie instellings of daai aanlegte moet bou. So ek dink dit gaan 'n groot verskil wees. Die regering gaan dit nie self doen nie, die regering gaan dit nie self finansier nie. Dit sal kom uit die privaat sektor.
David, the minister, Dr. Jose Nsora-Makgopa, expressed concern about a lack of skills locally in terms of some of these projects. Do we have enough skilled people to endeavour or to take on these projects?
I think that I have a belief which says when you build a large project, if you do it correctly, the skills tend to come back. I mentioned earlier, we actually literally had 140 of Koeberg staff who went over to UAE to help build the Brakka station. The minister tells a story about how a lot of the small modular reactor projects in the world are run by South Africans, albeit in the States or in the Philippines and things. So yes, if we build this and go. When Eskom ordered Koeberg in 1976, we had 13 people in the nuclear department. And I will comment, it's very important you mentioned Kusile Medupi earlier. The real difference is that when you buy a nuclear station, you don't buy the bits and put it together yourself. You go out and you find somebody who's building a reactor that you approve and somebody who's got the skill set of doing it reliably, and you order a turnkey from them. And it worked with Coburg. Coburg was on schedule, on budget. It was sabotaged at the end, so it probably is a force majeure. Look around the world today at most of the countries that are building nuclear stations, Bangladesh, Egypt, Turkey, Belarus, they're sensibly on time and schedule because they are doing a turnkey deal. They're developing their people in the process. But you find somebody who knows how to do this and has done it regularly.
So the idea is for us to go clean, but we are still very much dependent on coal. Do you think that some of those vested interests in those value chains in terms of coal, do you think we'll get pushback from them if we do move towards nuclear?
Oh, you get pushback from most people when you do a project like this. I mean, one of the biggest pushbacks will come from renewables because they claim that they're the green, clean solution.
That's wind and solar.
Wind and solar, which works very well as long as the wind's blowing and the sun's shining. It's a challenge if they aren't. At the moment, I don't think solar's doing much for the country, as we speak now, this moment, because it's night. And I think we've got to recognise that as we go forward to go to the net zero by 2050, you've got to start looking at what is going to make the power 24/7 with net zero. And realistically, there are only two options in the world that are credible. One is large-scale hydro, all the big dams, and one is nuclear. There's nothing else that can do it on the basis of 24/7. So if you seriously want to go for net zero in 2050, unless you're going to move the Grand Inga Dam from the Congo to the Free State, which I think is a challenge, you're probably stuck with a nuclear. If you do renewables, you're going to have natural gas backing you up. Well, that's a fossil fuel. That's giving us CO2 and methane.
That's not net zero.
That's not net zero.
Ryk 105.000 megawatt, dit is die bedrag van opwekking wat dan nou gekyk word. Het ons so baie krag nodig?
Wel, hopelik het ons so baie krag nodig, want dit gaan beteken ons ekonomie gaan baie vinnig moet groei. Nou op die oomblik is daar skaars elektrisiteit om ons ekonomie te voorsien en ons groei nie eers teen 1% nie. En as ons dit opstoot na 3%, toe gaan daar regtig 'n vraag wees na daai elektrisiteit. Die vraag is net, gaan dit betroubaar wees en gaan dit saam met die ekonomie groei? So ons het verseker daai elektrisiteit nodig, maar dit moet saamgaan met ekonomiese groei ons gaan nie ekonomiese groei kry van 3% sonder 'n belegging in opwekkingsinfrastruktuur nie.
David, I want to ask you the same question. Do we need that much energy?
Well, I'll go it differently. South African demand electricity grew at 3.4% reasonably consistently from 1982, the end of the gold boom, to 2007. In 2007, Eskom was constrained because it hadn't built the plants due to national policy, and therefore we ended up with a stagnant demand electricity consumption. But consumption then was really supply, because what is interesting is that if we had carried on with the projections in the 90 energy policy and the projections we had from 82 to 2007, we would now be at twice the electrical consumption we are today. And that means that and that's heavy industry, which is our country's backbone. And quite simply, the lack of electricity in the country has probably brought our GDP down by 30% from where it should be.
So if we do have financial institutions, international financial institutions willing to give the money for these projects.
Give?
Well, lend the money, not
Please.
give.
No one gives anything in this world.
Yeah, no, there are certain caveats, of course, but what would stand in their way, looking at the South African context? Would they say, but we look at things like the construction mafia and dangers on building sites. Would that be something that these institutions look at when considering the risk?
I think if you look across the world, you'll find we have many problems in this country, but so do many other countries. So you can manage a project differently. Some companies in this country run really well and would not know what the word corruption and mafia means. I think we've just got to do it. If we keep saying why it can't be done, we'll never start.
Kyk, baie pensioenfondse gaan ook in hierdie projekte belê. Dit moet net 'n eenvoudige sakemodel hê. Jy belê geld in 'n sonplaas of in 'n kernkragsentrale of in 'n gasaanleg. En dan moet daar iemand daai elektrisiteit by jou koop en jy moet 'n aanvaarbare wins maak. En dit moet oor 20 jaar gebeur en jy moet sekerheid hê dat dit vir 20 jaar gebeur.
Maar juist daarop Ryk hierdie punt van ek het nou vroeër gesê dat die instellings gaan die geld gee. Hulle gaan natuurlik dit nie doen nie. Gaan die regering enige waarborge gee?
Ons sal met sien, daar is geen voorsiening gemaak vir enige skuld op die regering se balansstaat. Dit is nou uit Ramaphosa se aankondiging gister. So daar is nie sprake daarvan dat die regering eintlik op hierdie stadium gaan paar staan vir van die finansiering nie. Maar die finansiering is nie eintlik die probleem nie. As daar projekte is wat winsgewend is en wat kommersieel sin maak, sal die geld stroom daarna toe. Maar die sleutel is, ons moet daardie kontrakte kan lewensvatbaar wees vir 'n tydperk van 20 jaar, beleid moet konstant wees, daar moet kopers wees vir daai elektrisiteit, en as projekbestuurders of konsortiums seker is dit gaan gebeur, gaan daai 2.2 triljoen rand baie vinnig ingesamel kan word. Maar dit moet gekoop word, daai elektrisiteit.
Maar kom ons hoop dit alles doen. Rank David, baie dankie.